I thought healing would look like a movie scene. One morning I'd wake up energized, motivated, ready to change everything. But it didn't happen like that. Healing came slow, quiet, awkward. Some days I took 2 steps forward. Then the next, I was flat on the floor again. I thought that meant I failed. But it didn't. It meant I was human. No one teaches you how to come back from burnout, sadness, or a numb life. So I had to make it up as I went. I started with small things, drinking water, stretching, opening the curtains. They didn't fix me, but they reminded me I was still here. I stopped chasing a big breakthrough and started building little rituals that felt like home. Healing wasn't a destination. It became a rhythm, a slow dance between surviving and starting to feel again. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't hate being alive. I used to think self-love was a feeling, like confidence, like pride, like looking in the mirror and smiling. But I didn't feel that way. Not even close. I looked at myself and saw failure, tired eyes, missed chances. So I thought, maybe I'm not someone worth loving right now. But then someone told me, self-love is not how you feel about yourself. It's how you treat yourself. That changed everything. I stopped waiting to love myself before being kind to myself. I started acting like someone I cared about. I cooked simple meals, even when I ate alone. I stopped calling myself stupid when I forgot something. I bought socks without holes, cleaned my bed sheets, lit a candle, not because I felt worthy, but because I wanted to learn how to be. Self-love became less about feeling better and more about treating myself better. Even when the inner critic screamed, I whispered kindness back. It wasn't perfect. I still had bad days. But every small act built a bridge between who I was and who I wanted to become. I used to say yes to everything. Extra shifts at work, favors for friends, social plans I didn't want. Not because I was generous, because I was afraid. Afraid of disappointing people, of seeming lazy, of being left out. But all those yes cost me something. My time, my energy, my sense of self. I realized I was stretching myself so thin, there was nothing left for me. So I started practicing a word I never learned growing up, no. No, I can't stay late tonight. No, I'm not available this weekend. No, that doesn't feel right to me. The first few times, I felt guilty. Like I owed people explanations for protecting my peace. But with every no, I said yes to myself. Yes to rest. Yes to recovery. Yes to realignment. I lost some things. Invitations. Opportunities. But I gained clarity. And boundaries. And room to breathe. Saying no didn't make me selfish. It made me honest. And for the first time, I stopped betraying myself to please others. Healing changed how I connect with people. It didn't just change me, it changed what I needed. I began to notice how drained I felt after certain conversations. How I laughed less around some friends. How I had to shrink parts of myself to fit in. And for a long time, I ignored that. I told myself, we've been friends for years. Or it's just how they are. But healing made me braver. Brave enough to ask, does this connection still serve me? Some answers hurt. But they were honest. I distanced myself from people who only showed up when they needed something. From those who mocked my softness or called my boundaries too much. It wasn't dramatic. No big fights. Just space. And in that space, I began to find people who made me feel safe. People who celebrated my growth. Who listened without fixing. who stayed even when I had nothing to offer. Letting go didn't make me bitter. It made me real. I stopped collecting people and started building community. And even when loneliness visited, I knew I'd rather be alone than surrounded by noise. For years, I thought success had one shape. A title, a salary, a certain lifestyle. Work hard, get promoted, buy things, keep going. That's what I saw. That's what I chased. But somewhere along the way, I stopped asking myself what I actually wanted. I became good at performing, but lost touch with purpose. Work became survival, not passion. Every Sunday night felt like mourning. And even when I achieved milestones, it felt empty. So I began asking new questions. What kind of work makes me feel whole? What does enough look like for me, not for Instagram? Am I chasing someone else's dream while abandoning my own? These weren't easy questions. They didn't come with quick answers, but they led me to softer places. I realized success could be slow. It could look like balance, like clarity, like breathing. Maybe I won't have the biggest paycheck, but I can build a life where I'm not burned out, not lost. And that, to me now, is a form of success. My body speaks in ways I didn't always understand. Not with words, but with heaviness, tension, a tight chest. For a long time, I ignored it. I pushed through headaches, skipped meals, slept too little or not at all. I treated rest like a reward, not a right. Until my body stopped whispering and started yelling. Panic attacks, fatigue, digestive issues. And still, I blamed myself. Maybe I'm just weak. Maybe I'm overreacting. But my body wasn't betraying me. It was protecting me. It remembered every time I overworked, overgave, overlooked my needs. Healing meant learning to listen again. Eating when I'm hungry, not just when I have time. Moving not to punish my body, but to thank it. Drinking water not just for skin, but for survival. Resting without needing to earn it. I stopped chasing a perfect body and started asking, what does my body need today? Sometimes it's a walk. Sometimes it's stillness. Always, it's permission to be human. I used to wake up with dread. Not because anything terrible happened, but because life felt heavy. Mornings meant emails, bills, the long list of things I hadn't done. So I started changing my mornings. Just a little. I placed a glass of water by my bed. I stopped checking my phone the first 5 minutes. I opened the window, let the light in. Some days, that's all I could do. And that was okay. I learned that healing isn't about grand gestures. It's in the small, consistent choices. Going for a walk, even if it's just around the block. Writing down 3 things I'm grateful for, even if one is I'm still breathing. Lighting a candle before dinner, just because it makes the room feel softer. Bit by bit, those small actions became a rhythm. And rhythm became stability. I no longer felt like I was constantly falling behind. I started feeling like I was simply moving forward at my own pace. That's the beauty of small things, they build the kind of hope that stays. Not the loud, explosive kind. The kind that's quiet, but doesn't leave. I used to think healing meant never breaking down again. That if I cried, it meant I was back at square one. But healing isn't linear. It's not clean. It's not always strong. Some days, you'll still cry. You'll still feel grief for things that never happened. For people who didn't stay. For versions of you that no longer exist. And that's okay. Tears are not weakness. They're release. I cried in the shower. In my car. in the middle of grocery stores. Not because I was broken, but because I was finally letting go. I learned to forgive myself for not healing faster, for not seeing the red flags, for simply surviving. Forgiveness didn't mean forgetting. It meant choosing peace over punishment. I forgave others, too, not for them, but for me. Carrying pain for years didn't protect me. It only wore me down. Letting go didn't make the past disappear, but it made space for something new. And slowly, that new thing felt like lightness. Like exhaling after holding your breath for too long. There was a time I felt guilty for feeling joy. Like I didn't deserve to laugh when my life was still a mess. So I put happiness on hold. I'll be happy when I'm stable, when I have more money, when I figure it all out. But that one kept moving, and I realized maybe I'd been waiting for a life that doesn't exist. A life without problems, without pain, without uncertainty. So I stopped waiting, and I started noticing the way sunlight hit my tea in the morning, the sound of my friend's voice when she laughs, the feeling of clean sheets after a long day. These were tiny things, but they were real, and they reminded me joy doesn't need permission. It doesn't wait for a perfect moment. It creates one. I stopped measuring my life in milestones and started measuring it in moments. Was I kind to myself today? Did I laugh? Did I rest? That became enough. I still want big things. Stability, connection, meaning, but I no longer postpone joy for them. I let joy live here, now, even in the middle of becoming. Dear me, I know it hasn't been easy. I know there were mornings you didn't want to wake up. Nights when you stared at the ceiling, wondering what the point was. But you stayed. You stayed through the ache, the confusion, the loneliness. And that is everything. You didn't need to fix everything. You didn't need to have it all figured out. You just needed to hold on. And you did. I'm proud of you, not because you were strong all the time, but because you kept showing up even when you weren't. You learned to rest, not quit. To ask for help, not hide. You found beauty in small things. You learned to be soft again after years of being hard. You started over even when the past whispered you can't. So here's to you. Not the perfect version, not the healed one. Just you. The real, tired, trying you. I see you. I honor you. I'm walking with you. We're not done yet, but we're not broken. We're rebuilding. And that is more than enough.